Hi everyone, my name is Father Sam Kachuba. Welcome to Faith Friday. This video is taking me all day to make, and it has been just a series of fits and starts and little technical issues here and there, and finally figured it out, I hope. Anyway, there's a lesson there. I want to talk a little bit about corrections. In this case, correcting a small thing technically that I finally figured out. But more importantly, how correction can help us in our spiritual lives to grow and to become more holy. I was recently invited to a family's home for dinner, and they told me, "Father, we know you like to play music. Why don't you bring some instruments along?" So I brought my violin, brought the mandolin, and I went, and the whole family wanted to play music after we had dinner. And so the kids had their instruments out. There were a whole bunch of fiddles around, tin whistles, all kinds of cool stuff. We played a lot of Irish music, and it was a lot of fun. Now, I've played the violin since I was 4 years old. I took lessons from that age all the way through high school. I've been playing long enough that I know some stuff. I'm not that great, but I know enough, and I know basic things. I can figure things out. All right. So one of the sons was playing, and I noticed something about his posture, the way that he was holding the violin. And it was something that I used to do myself. And recognizing that, I knew exactly what my teacher would have done. And so I did the same thing with this young man. I just reached over and I tapped his thumb. And it was the thumb that was holding the violin. And he immediately dropped his hand back because he knew what he was doing. He was holding his hand too close up to the neck of the violin. And he dropped it back and he went, I know. And it was like we had just spoken the secret language to one another. I knew what he was doing wrong. He knew what he was doing wrong. But I caught him. I pointed it out. And he immediately knew what he needed to do in order to correct it and in order to do better. All right. Now, a different type of correction. I played golf with my brother recently. He's a great athlete. He's a great golfer. I'm none of those things. And we went out and played, and he said, look at what I'm doing. And he showed me something. He said, this is how you look. And he showed me things that I was doing incorrectly. And then he said, do this instead. And he showed me a couple of things that I could do to correct my swing and get just a better contact with the ball, ways that I could be a better golfer. Now, am I a better golfer? No. But when I followed his advice, did it help? Absolutely. In that case, though, he was showing me something that I wasn't aware of, that I didn't realize I needed to do, and he taught me how to do something better. In the spiritual life, sometimes the correction that we need is something simple that we already know about. Sometimes it's as simple as just being reminded of what we already know about God, about our prayer life, about the things that we need to do in order to have spiritual discipline in our lives. Other times, the correction that we need is a little bit more intense. We need to be taught. So my brother had to teach me something. When I go to see my spiritual director, sometimes he's just reminding me of stuff that I already know. You've got to set time aside for your prayer. You've got to make sure that you're reading the scriptures, that you're doing these different spiritual exercises. And other times he's teaching me things that are a lot harder for me to grasp. Other times he's trying to give me some more guidance so that I can actually take some concrete steps that I have not yet done. So in the spiritual life, those corrections help us to become more holy. So think about it. What in your spiritual life needs to be corrected? And sometimes that correction is something really simple, something you already know. And sometimes it's something that might require a little bit more depth, a little bit more analysis. Can you go and talk to your priest or to a friend of yours who's solid in the spiritual life, to a spiritual director, to somebody who can help you to make that correction so that you can do better? It can be hard to receive correction, but let's remember this. Correction is always intended for our improvement, that we might become better than we were, and that we might grow always closer to the heart of Jesus Christ, the God who loves us. God bless you.